The Moreness Show with hosts Syl and Beena is about to bring depth and value into your life.
Hello and welcome to the Moreness Show. Today is our first show of 2025 and we are so happy and excited to be here. Just being here is good. Welcome to the Moreness Show, Syl. And I just want to say that on his behalf also, Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes.
Happy New Year, Syl.
Yes, thank you. We got a wonderful topic. We're going to continue from last week. Last week we were talking about how to apply Moreness in everyday life. We're going to continue with that with a slight shift. We're going to be focusing on the fundamentals of Moreness-Culture. What makes it Moreness-Culture? What's core to it? What's essential to it? One thing that makes Moreness-Culture different to any other regular culture is that enhancing and developing awareness and character is primary. This is absolutely key and core and essential, right? So this is what makes us in Moreness-Culture different, right, Beena? That we're focusing on.
Okay,
this.
just wanna say something about for whoever is going to watch us like here first time. We are doing this show about Moreness-Culture, and this is something we are doing regularly. And Syl is keeping a central topic of like what is Moreness-Culture and what we are all about. So last time he discussed about like what is the basic of it, and now we are going into depth of what are the fundamentals, how we can actually really build a Moreness-Culture. Everyone can do this. Still, just to give a brief idea about what Moreness-Culture is and how it is going to be possible for everyone, for a common person like me, for anyone. So just please give a brief idea about this and then continue.
So fundamental to Moreness-Culture is understanding that what we are about in Moreness-Culture. So you as an individual saying, hey, I want to join Moreness-Culture. What's going on? What am I going to do? Well, first of all, you're going to be focused on enhancing and developing your awareness and your character. Yes, rather than in regular culture, we're about our status and our position and our careers and, that type of the normal, usual stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we are really going to say, hey, we want to be more as people. Yes, so we want to develop our character and build good character and also build good awareness and extend and enhance and develop our awareness. Why? Because we need that awareness in order to build our character. And also, when the more aware you are, the less you struggle in life, yeah? And the less you do stupid things. Of course, stupidity and unawareness is the same thing, really, yeah? So we avoid that. And the more aware we are, the more we notice the moreness. That's the key point, right? So awareness is not only about the value in itself, but also because it connects us to noticing moreness. Beena, let me ask you, right? Well, I'll get to that point in a moment, but let me ask you, since we've been on this journey that you and I have been together, and for those who don't know, Beena started, she came and did Way-Of-Impeccability, but we've been engaged in the pursuit of moreness and practicing and applying in our daily, every single day we get together and immerse in Moreness-Culture. How has your awareness changed and how has your character changed? How has your perspective on life changed?
I'm really glad that you asked and you mentioned about my perspective on life, because this is something in general, it happens like dramatically. I used to ask Syl that, okay, how you get this, like always have a different perspective. In the beginning, my idea that, okay, he just do this because he don't want to accept anyone's idea. That was the beginning. That was the short mindset. Oh, some agenda and something. But then I realized, no, it's a superpower because you always have something more than expected, more than usual, and more than the obvious. And that was the time I really hoping and wishing for that. Oh, I wish I could have this superpower of having a different perspective. But I don't know how. In this process, during this process, it just become innate to me that okay, of course, I'm far behind him. I'm not saying just to flatter him, no, but this is a reality that, okay, yes, I'm far behind him. But still, if I look at myself where I was before, This is a drastic change. I
Yeah.
cannot even recognize myself sometimes that, okay, this is who I was. This is what I was doing at that time. Lack of
Yeah.
awareness
Yeah.
was causing all sort of problem in every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
In my relationships with my friends, with my family, with myself, it was a disaster. Every single time when something was happening, it was lack of awareness because I was not able
Exactly.
to recognize what's going on. And the
Yes.
ability to see different perspective, I can say that it's a magic wand. We
Oh
all can
yes.
have
Oh
that.
yes. Oh yes.
Literally, it can transform your relationships, it can transform your career, it can transform yourself, it can transform your life in general. It is
Yes.
happening with me, it
Yes.
happened with me, and I am a witness, and also I can say that, okay, I'm the I'm the first one who literally in this extreme I have experienced it.
Yeah.
Many times I had the worldview collapse. My idea of life, my idea of
Yes.
myself completely shattered. And I was devastated. I was like, no, I
You
cannot
don't
face
have
this.
to
I
be,
cannot
but
handle this.
it's
So
part
many
of the
times.
process. It's
That
part of
was
the
the
process.
part of the process of the transformation. We all talk about
Yes.
transformation in a
Yes.
very nice, good way, but when transformation actually happens, you don't recognize yourself anymore.
And it can be quite difficult. It doesn't have to be,
Very
but it
difficult.
can be, right? We can get through it. And also, just what Beena was saying about, far ahead, in Moreness-Culture, we try not to do that, but we have habits that come from regular culture, right? So
It's a
we try
limitations
not
of
to
language.
compare. Right, right,
It's
exactly.
just a
Yeah,
limitations of language.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But that brings us to a point that I want to come to, which is one of the fundamentals of Moreness-Culture is to celebrate the difference. So when Beena says,
Exactly.
"Oh, I'm far ahead of her," okay, it's not language that I would personally use or prefer to use, and it's not really ideal from a Moreness. The language of conceptuality is not ideal. However, when Beena says it, there's the underlying understanding and her intent, her appreciation is very different.
Oh,
She's not
yes.
saying it in a comparative way which makes her feel bad. She loves the fact that there's a difference between us.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly. Why
Because
not?
man, if somebody's already, where I wish to go, that means it's possible to go there. And also I can learn from them. I can see what they're doing. Now, from the other side, it doesn't mean like, oh well, you're useless to me. No, because Beena's daily journey, daily learning, daily challenges of learning, and daily celebrations of learning, those are fantastic to me because even though it's things you have gone through before, when you go through it with somebody, it refreshes it in yourself, right? So when we ever talk about perspective shifting, bless me, then I
Yes.
refresh my perspective shifting. And when we discuss it, when we go through it, when we get into the detail, the nuance, the discernment of it, this is most fantastic for me. So both of us benefit and celebrate and delight in where the other is at. This is profound, 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 and it's a huge, huge, huge big deal in Moreness-Culture, which is this point about celebrating difference rather than the comparative mindset. Even though
Exactly.
Beena was technically saying comparing, it's what it sounded like in her words, but what she was really doing, she was actually celebrating difference, right, Beena? When you were saying
Exactly.
that,
And
you were actually
yes. And
celebrating difference.
also just,
Yeah,
yes. And also just want to add this. Once you get some idea of moreness, then there is no hesitation to accept
yeah,
that, yes, someone has moreness. So
yeah.
what? So there is no competition there that, okay, yes, I do accept
Exactly,
that. Okay, yes, they have more experience.
exactly, exactly,
They have seen a lot more than me. So what? I'm here, I can learn.
exactly.
This is the key right here.
But somebody else having moreness, and Beena has so much moreness that I appreciate every day. I
Oh,
learn from
yes.
her every day. This is a joy. It's not something to feel jealous about or feel less about. No, it's a bonus. It's a boon in your life because you get to learn from it. You get to absorb it. You get to celebrate it. You get to enjoy it. It's a change of mindset. As soon as we get out of that hierarchy mindset, higher, lower, comparing, everything changes. You start
Oh,
enjoying
yes.
everything. start celebrating. Everything is a gift to you. And you higher, lower, doesn't make any difference. It's all valuable, no matter where you're at. Like I said, Beena's learning benefits me like crazy because I get to share what I know. Share, not teach, not tell, share. And in that sharing, I refresh my own mind. I refresh my own understanding. And this is just absolutely wonderful. Yes? It's
Yes,
profound. It's a really, really
just wanna give a disclaimer here that we are not the member of mutual committee of mutual appreciation here. We are using ourselves as examples because right now we
exactly,
have this thing, and because we interact a
exactly,
lot, so we
exactly.
experience a lot. I have seen a lot of like you can say highs and lows in this whole process because I was struggling with because I where I was coming from was a should mindset that
Yeah,
okay, things has to
yeah.
be in this way, it should be like this, you should not say this, you should not do this, and all sort
Right,
of things.
right, right.
But as the process goes on, I realize that it's a burden.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot have a piece of being if I am still carrying all those shoulds in my on my back, like okay,
Yes,
yes, I'm,
yes, yes.
so this is a
And
big
just
deal.
to, yeah, just
Yes,
to carry on in this point about
exactly.
with the fundamentals, right? So we've discussed this
Mm,
fundamental of enhancing your awareness, which is just another way of saying that. Oh, that sounds very fancy, like complicated. What does that actually mean? Well, it just means being a bit more in the know, a little bit more clued in, a little bit more awake, a little bit more alert, yeah, and
open.
just understanding, open, yes. Well, you have to be open in order to grow and learn, but it just means you notice things more, you understand things
Hmm.
more, you look at, you can see behind the scenes, you can see the layers underneath, stuff like that, right? So that's what being more awareness means, yeah. And it's very, 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 very powerful. Also, it's personal growth. Now, personal growth is a very peculiar word in a sense, or personal development, because it's been co-opted. When I grew up, personal development meant working on yourself. Things like, okay, if you got a bad temper, you work on this. You're learning to be more patient. You're learning to be more disciplined, more diligent, more all that kind of stuff, right? To have more integrity, more awareness, more sensibility. But it's personal development or self-improvement has been completely co-opted by the business sort of mindset, and it's come to mean, or people think it means, oh, you're learning how to be more successful in your career and do career. No, that's learning stuff for your career. Those are business skills. You can be very successful in your business and still not have good character, right? So you might not
Yes.
be personally very well developed. And we know lots of people like that. They made lots of money, but they're not people that you wish to be. Yeah? So this is it. It's somebody that you would like to be regardless of the money. So personal
But
development, which is, I just want to make one more point quickly, which is a
yes.
pursuit of aspirations rather than the pursuit of ambitions. Yeah?
Hmm. Hmm. Just want to ask that, okay, all those qualities, all those things you were saying that, okay, yes, to work on your temperament, to work on your communication and all these things, they are also included in the bonus culture. Yes?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Moreness-Culture,
Yes.
it's where we started. Moreness-Culture is about the enhancing and development of awareness and character. This is the primary goal, focus, purpose, what we are doing day in and day out. This is the thread, this is
Hmm.
the intent, this is what we are doing. As opposed to the typical culture that we live in, your intent is following your usual goals of your ambitions. Okay, your ambition to have a family, which you can have Moreness culture and have a family. You can pursue
Hmm.
your business goals and Moreness all together. But the core is, let's say in my job, I've got a job, and yes, okay, but it's not the sole focus and purpose and be all of my job to get to the highest level in my job, because I might say, do I actually want that job? Well, all right, let's just take super ambition to be president. If you
Hmm.
really, really look at that job, for me personally, you couldn't pay me enough to be president. There's no way I would like that job. All the stress and the hassle and the negativity and all this, the effort isn't worth the reward. I don't have that ambition or to say, oh, you people think you're president, look how wonderful you are. I don't care about that. People's approval and their attention means absolutely nothing to me. So all that's in it for me personally would be a tremendous amount of work and stress, right? So I'm making the point that when you look carefully at your ambitions, say, where would I like to be that I will be comfortable at? Now you are looking at the moreness. Is this a position where I get to do good, where I get to be fulfill myself, where I get to be creative, where I get to express myself, etc., etc.? Those are the things we're looking at. The moreness.
Wow.
Is my job going to fulfill me spiritually? Okay,
Wow.
you might
Wow.
say,
What a question. What a question you
yeah. Now you
throw at
might
us.
say, for
Yes.
the right person, you might say,
This
well,
just,
you know, being president, that would really do it for me spiritually. Okay, if
yes.
that works
Okay.
for you, then yes. But it needs to
Okay.
be appropriate for you. And
Exactly.
core
Okay. You
to
bring,
Moreness-Culture is appropriateness, the
yes.
philosophy
Okay.
of
You bring
appropriateness.
such a big point here that, okay, I don't need approval from others. And we will
Yeah,
continue with this after having a short break, because you bring a lot of points here,
yeah,
which is about like okay,
yeah,
I don't need approval. I don't need
yeah.
something. So please, okay, we will continue after a short commercial break.
Mike Zoric, a three-time
That was
California
nice.
state
We will
champion
continue after short
in
commercial break.
women wrestling
And you
at
leave. You
114
leave.
pounds.
Right?
Mike,
Right?
blind since birth.
I mean, you said it the first
Yes.
time and then you added more.
Six-time national
But the second time you ended it nicely. The
Two
second time you ended
thirds
it nicely.
and
No,
two
it's all good,
fourths.
Beena. It's
He
all good.
also won
You know,
the
he's listening to
Women's
you and
Freestyle
you've got to
Wrestling
cue
twice
him where the cut is.
152
You with me?
pounds in
So there
Okay. Okay. No,
is a
I
bit
was
of
not
a,
getting it. I was just
like,
trying following.
right, because
Yeah.
he's listening to you and that's the cue. He's to go with you. Yeah. So when he hears silence,
Okay.
essentially that's where it is. But you know, but he can hear in the tone of your voice too. So he doesn't have to wait for 3, 4 seconds because that's too long. He has to hear it in that cut. Right? Very, very fascinating stuff. Wonderful, Beena. Wonderful.
Yes.
I love
Always
doing this with
learning.
you. I like the back and forth as well, and I really enjoy it, Beena. I really enjoy it.
This is very interesting. Okay, always interesting for me. But when you say that, okay, we don't need approval from
Are
others.
you struggling to care for
It's
Oh,
right
loved ones
there,
or
a
a
freedom.
spouse? Do you
Right
wonder
there.
if being a
yeah.
caregiver is
Save it, save it,
It's a
save it,
big,
save it,
big.
save it. Don't share it.
to care for elderly
Hold it
parents
in,
and
because if you
balance
share it, the
work,
energy's
life,
gone.
and
Save it for after
caregiving?
the break.
Okay.
Has
Look how
caregiving
nice
become
our
exhausting and
backgrounds are
emotionally
blending, by the way.
draining? Are you
I
an
love
aging
this.
adult who wants
See,
to
looks
Mm.
be
like we're in one big
independent but you're
garden. Look
not
at that.
sure how? I'm Pamela Monterosa,
I
and
actually
this is
changed
the
it,
New
and
Generation
now
Radio
I'm just
Show
now
for
looking at
caregivers
you
and
because
being
that was
adults,
confusing. It
Wednesday
was going
evenings,
a bit
6
sideways.
Pacific,
So I
7
just
Mountain,
put
8
it you
Central,
on a
and 9
screen
Eastern.
so then I can
Ask
see
Oh,
in the
questions
center.
oh,
and share tips
Yes.
for
I have
managing
us two
stress,
together.
family
Make
relationships,
sure that
health,
where your
well-being,
eyes are
and
looking
more.
is
Podcasts and
toward the
transcripts of the
camera.
Caring
Yes?
Generation are on my
Yeah,
website,
that's why I did that.
PamelaWilson.com,
Oh, okay.
plus my caregiving
Look at
library,
me
Yes.
online
or
caregiver
you. Who are you
support
looking at
programs,
now?
and programs for corporations
Yeah,
interested
you're
in
looking a little
supporting working
down. You need to look a
caregivers.
bit more up.
Help, hope, and support for caregivers is
Okay,
here
I will
on the
look at
Caring
you.
Generation and
Well,
Okay.
put the thing behind,
PamelaDWilson.com.
underneath the camera.
Yes. Hello and welcome back to the Moreness Show with Syl and Beena. And before the break, Syl was really throwing big, huge points. And he was saying about, I don't need approval from others. Right there is a
Oh,
transformation. I was
oh,
really, oh my God. Okay, because
right.
if I don't need approval from others, how amazing it is to be. Really,
Exactly.
literally, how amazing it
Exactly.
is to be. So please,
Exactly.
Syl, continue with this.
It's a profound shift, and this is the basics, the fundamentals of Moreness-Culture. We're not in it for the approval of others, because what does your approval matter? You may approve of me, and I may still be a knucklehead who knows nothing, and I haven't developed myself. So your approval
Yes.
is hollow. I need to have something actual, some real moreness, and some actual skills of being. Yeah, if I'm all, got a really bad temper and I'm all crotchety and irritable all the time and whatever. No, come on. That you can approve of me all you like, but that doesn't mean that I'm a nice person or good person, right? A
But isn't
sensible
it going
person.
to be like really, isn't it going to be give us like really a wild card, do whatever you want to, you don't need approval from others?
That's a great question. But no, it will not do that.
Mm.
Why? Because part of Moreness-Culture and developing character, real character, is developing
Yes.
integrity. and your sobriety. And of course, we get into things like impeccability. How on earth, and appropriateness, when you understand that all of these concepts that we live, they all fall under appropriateness. And we use appropriateness as a philosophy of living, as a practical philosophy of living. Practical, practical, practical. Because mostly when you say, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know what I should do, I don't know how I should behave, ask yourself, is this appropriate? You say, well, I don't know. Well, figure it out. Understand what appropriateness means. Appropriateness is completely and utterly, totally fundamental to Moreness culture. Appropriateness means that you, first of all, know what you're doing, why you are doing what you are doing. You have a goal, you have a purpose, you have an intent. But then also, you have to say in what context. Yes? Because the same thing, like, okay, if I wear a bikini, is that appropriate? You'll say, but it depends where you are. If I'm at the beach, it's appropriate. If I'm at a business meeting, it's not. So context matters completely to appropriateness. And also, it
Okay, now
depends
I
what you're trying to
understand.
do. Right? One more point quickly, Beena. One more point. What am
Yes,
I trying to
yes.
do? If I'm trying to shock the world and I'm trying to make a shocking video, well, then I wear my bikini to the business meeting. And it's shocking, and I get on TikTok or whatever. See? And then it's appropriate because
Okay.
that's what I was trying to do. So your goal, what you're trying to do, and where you do it and when you do it also matters. So when we look at appropriateness, we have to look at appropriateness not only right now, but in the context of our entire life. Because I may do things that are appropriate short term, but they're not appropriate long term. Okay? So this is appropriateness.
Yes.
But then when you ask yourself, is what I am doing appropriate, especially in the context of my entire life, changes your question. Changes your question, the answer changes it completely and entirely. It becomes very profound. And it's a marvelous, wonderful guide to living. It makes living very easy to be appropriate. Yeah, not very
Oh,
hard.
yes. Okay. Yes, I was very keen to add something because for my own clarity, because when you were saying about the fundamentals of Moreness culture, and I was like, okay, now we are having something rigid and all that, but wait, okay, these are the fundamentals you cannot avoid. But right there, when you were mentioning that, okay, you cannot have, okay, yes, I can do whatever I want to, even not considering other
No,
people and their rights and all that, and appropriateness also. So what actually you are saying that when you are getting into the Moreness culture, it's about the totality, it's about the entirety of it,
exactly.
not
Exactly.
just like, okay, you can just eliminate, these are the pillars of the Moreness
Right.
culture,
Right.
so you cannot just demolish few and then say, okay,
Yes.
yes, so it is going to
Right.
happen. Yes.
So I started with the fundamentals and saying that we are about enhancing and developing awareness and character. Those are the primary. But really,
Yes.
there's only one fundamental, and that's appropriateness.
Wow.
Actually,
Even
character and
before
awareness
character.
is secondary, because think about it. Yes, if I say, what is appropriate in my life? Well, isn't it appropriate for me to develop my awareness, to be more aware? Well, if I'm going to be unaware, I'm going to go around bumping my head. I'm going to go around doing foolish things. I'm going to suffer unnecessarily. I'm not going to understand. Well, is suffering appropriate? No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'd rather be happy. For me, it's not appropriate. See? So now, developing and enhancing my awareness becomes more appropriate. Also, good character. Well, do I want to be a criminal? Do I want to be crappy? Do I want to be indulging? Do I want to have no control over myself and be at the mercy of everything? People think that, oh, it's just my freedom. I can be angry whenever I like. You can also be made angry whenever somebody else likes. Did you ever think of that? No, you didn't. Right? So a lot of people well, I just like doing whatever I want. Yeah, but you have no control of yourself, which means you are vulnerable to others manipulating you. Not just others, but life itself. Yeah, I mean, people are easily irritable, and a fly comes into the room. Oh my God, they're all upset and annoyed and angry and whatever. Simple, silly little things can set them off and really spoil their day. Right? It's a terrible way to live. So when you look at appropriateness, you say, wow, to have good character actually makes my life better. Of course it does. I mean, superpower is the most incredible superpower that one can imagine. Everybody wants to have superpowers like flying or being invisible. Patience,
Yeah.
more potent than all of those. Right? Patience is the most incredible superpower. And because, when you have intent and you understand the nuances and details of intent, and this is as we go into moreness, we get into things like intent. You say, wow, I never heard of intent really. Well, I heard of intention, but what's intent now? All right, it's a wonderful topic and we'll get into it another point. But now it's
Yes.
almost like magic really. But you have to understand that all of these things depend on good character, yeah, because the universe, the world is set up, it's not going to give you these powers, these abilities, if you don't have good character. Why? Because you're going to abuse them and cause lots of trouble. Okay, I mean, there's already enough people causing trouble in the world without real
Yes.
superpowers. So it's a big deal, and that's what I'm saying. The fundamental really is appropriateness. When you think about appropriateness, and you think about how best can I use my energy, which is impeccability, which is another way of appropriateness, right? Another way of saying it in a different context. But when you say, I've got so much that I can do, what's the most appropriate that I can use my energy for? Okay. Well, having good character, this makes my life easier. Patience makes your life easier. Very simple. Integrity makes your life easier. You go around lying all the time and cheating people. Oh my gosh. I'm fascinated at the criminal mindset because they believe that they have the shortcut, but they spend so much effort being criminals. They have to always watch their lies. They always have to be careful of getting into trouble. It's like, oh, mess, way too much work. But way, way simpler to not be a criminal. Way, way, way simpler. So it's a
This
delusion.
is this is
And
this
actually,
is
we did a live. I just want to say this real quick. We did a live the other day. You can look it up on YouTube. And I talked about, Beena and I, we talked about extensively about believed value versus actual value. And the difference is incredible. Incredible. People do the
yes.
most absurd things that cause them real struggle and hassle and misery and stuff, but they believe it's valuable and they keep doing it. So this is moreness. We are paying attention. We are being aware. We're not falling into those traps, right?
Yes.
Appropriateness.
You you
Appropriateness.
you bring you bring such an amazing point about appropriateness and about like okay how tiresome this being negative can be, being clueless can
That's
be,
even
being
worse. Yeah.
characterless
Oh,
can
yeah,
be,
exactly.
and mostly we don't have idea as you were mentioning that. So it brings, of course, because I do have some understanding of way of impactability and modern culture, so I can bring it.
Right,
What
right.
about the energy efficientness of modern culture? How much it is
That
focused on?
Moreness-Culture is energy efficient. That we are talking about the
Yes.
fundamentals. Energy
Yes.
efficiency is absolutely a fundamental of Moreness-Culture. Impeccability,
Okay.
that's our definition of impeccability. And we have this program, and Beena and I facilitate. People can come and do it. It's called Way of Impeccability, and it provides this abundance of tools, not beliefs, tools that you can go and use in your everyday life. And that makes you more efficient. So one of the core definitions of impeccability is best use of energy. That's really key.
Energy.
And now, impeccability, when applied and you use your energy properly, it leads to profound things. It leads to, for instance, no problems with decision making. It leads to no regrets, no recriminations, none of that, right? Things might not always work out the way you thought they would, but when you're impeccable, doesn't matter. Things always work out good, even though it's not
Wow.
what you thought. In the end, always, yeah, because you've developed other tools, the tools of understanding things like fortuitous mistakes, the tools of understanding perspective shifting, the tools of understanding how the universe works. And the point and purpose of everything is the enhancement and development of awareness. So it's not only fundamental to Moreness-Culture. From a Moreness-Culture perspective, it's fundamental to how the universe works. They say, but so aren't you asking me to believe you there? Kind of, but only temporarily. Just take it on as if, and look around you and start asking yourself, okay, what happened to me? Well, my partner broke up with me, and you say, well, how does this help me when it comes to awareness? Oh, you say, wow, I had a lot of lessons to learn there. I could have done it very differently, and I could understand appropriateness. And okay, we had fun together, but were we appropriate long term? Well, no, not so much. Did I want to face that awful truth? No, not really. Oh, I need to learn to face the awful truth and deal with it. Oh, wow, that's a real lesson for me. Oh, I need to realize and have a bit more confidence in myself. I didn't want to lose my girlfriend or my boyfriend because I thought, well, I wouldn't get another one. So I'm a bit insecure. Oh, so I have to learn to be more secure. You see all the lessons. Yeah, there's like a zillion of them.
And what are the benefits of it?
Yeah.
Just for a common person, what will be the benefit of awareness right there in this example?
Well, for one thing, if you really have developed from a Moreness-Culture point of view, you'd understand that you transition rather than break up.
Okay.
Right? Just
Okay,
for one thing. So
no regrets,
I'm in a relationship.
yes, no regrets, no negative.
Right, and things change, and I transition into a different type of a relationship. So we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and now we are just friends. Okay. Wonderful. It
So
doesn't
no
have to be
negativity.
negative.
That's the first benefit.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the first benefit. Second.
I want to elaborate on that first benefit. The first benefit is having choices. That's what awareness provides us. Choice. When we're unaware, we don't have any choices. We're at the mercy of the world. The more aware you are, the more choices you have. And the more choices you have, the more sensible you can choose. Yeah. I mean, it's not very hard to choose sensibility when you see it as a choice. And when you have a range of choices, and these are foolish, and it's like when you compare them to the sensible choices, you can clearly see the difference. But if you're less aware, you only maybe see the one choice in front of you, and it's not a particularly good choice, but, well, I don't know what else to do, and you choose whatever it is, right? And that's not a good choice. So choice. Awareness leads to choice. That's the key point, right? And the second major benefit is the more aware we are, the more we are able to be appropriate.
Okay.
And how is that not a massive
really
benefit?
That's why I was asking. Is it really a benefit?
To be appropriate. Of course, it's an incredible benefit. The more appropriate you can be, the more benefit you have in your life. Because I'm not just being appropriate now, I'm being appropriate tomorrow. I'm being appropriate in not just the immediate context, but the intermediate context, right? The community context, the national world, the context of my life, the context of my spirit. I am taking care of everything. I'm having fun and I'm taking care of my spirit as well, right? My life. So when I get to the end of my life, I'm not saying, oh man, I kind of wasted my life now. What am I doing? No, I'm being appropriate and I'm taking care of that, right? So this is appropriateness is the most incredible benefit.
I'm
Because
being
you won't have any
appropriate.
regrets.
Wow, this is the point, because for a common person, for a new person, this is the thing. This is the real fruit of it.
Right.
And we will continue after a short commercial break. And I want to ask you again that what are the benefits of being appropriate? So I'm just leaving you with this, and we will see you guys after a short commercial break.
Dr. RC will
There
share
you go.
extraordinary resources
But again,
and
say,
services that promote
I want to hear
educational
more about
success,
this. Tell
as
me
well as
more
making a
after the break.
difference in the lives
Then
of
you
all
got it
social
right there, yeah?
workers, as well as the lives of children,
You with me?
adolescents, and teens.
Learning, so
She will have
Well, because you said
Then you
break
have
and
to
then you
the
talked and
issues
then
that
you
we
said
face
break
about
again.
our youth and how being
Yes, I'm trying, but it is okay. I never get a training for this, sir.
Oh, no, I know. That's why I'm just repeating it to bring it into the
I don't
mind.
want to
Right?
focus more on these things, because
Oh,
otherwise
alright.
it's going to be like, oh, so on. So yes, I'm trying.
Yeah. You don't even have to
Okay.
say anything. Just say we have to take a break. We'll be back shortly.
I don't want to do this. It's very abrupt, because
You can.
I
You
want
can
to
do that
continue.
abruptly.
I really want you to continue
just have
after
to
that.
smile
So it has to
sweetly.
be.
Just have to smile sweetly.
Seriously,
Yeah,
I'm not
I'm
that
serious.
type of a person who can just smile sweetly
I'm
and just
serious.
think,
Yes.
No.
Well, you don't have to
Nope.
grin like a
Nope.
monkey, but you can smile nicely. You're
No.
smiling nicely now.
No, I can't be. I'm not that kind of a person.
Strategies to help gain perspective.
You can just like, okay, I didn't sitting and
Achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new
I do have a
Not doing
major
too much
point
for
that
me.
I need to make before we go.
Yes.
published
And
by
NFTs always
audiobooks.
connected
Hawkins
to a new
reveals
person.
strategies to help readers
For a new
Yeah,
person.
more.
yeah.
He
So
For
the
a
believes
new person.
fundamentals,
People who doesn't have
appropriateness is
any
this core
idea.
fundamental.
Hawkins
Yeah,
says that
yeah,
the best
For
athletes
people
get
who
to the
doesn't
top
have
of
any
their
idea
sport
about
with the help
Moreness-Culture,
of coaches
yeah.
just
and
bring
mentors and
always.
others.
And just say that
He shares
for a new
guidance
person and
that
then bring
helps
the
readers
basic,
reflect
very
on what
basic
motivates them,
definition of it.
rediscover
Yeah.
and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John
Thank you
Hawkins'
for the
My
15 seconds.
Strategy,
It really helps.
Saturdays, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Eastern
Here we go.
on
5,
ABN
4.
Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to the Moreness Show with Syl and Beena. And before the break, Syl was breaking such a big points. It was like bombing. He was bombing us with the 1 and then 2 and then 3. And I was like, seriously. But yes, okay, because it is so sophisticated. It is so deep and so valuable. I just I want him to come continuously bringing the points for the new person, whoever is joining us just right now. How to understand this, how to grab this. Please, Syl, continue with
So we're
this.
looking at the fundamentals. Appropriateness, fundamental. Yes, absolutely key. Raising your awareness, developing your character. In other words, being who you really would like to be. This is the goal of Moreness-Culture. This is what everybody in Moreness-Culture is about. You are pursuing being who you really wish to be, and who you can justify being in your deepest conscience and soul.
Wow.
Yeah, because some people say, "Oh, I want to be a, I don't know, real badass or whatever." Yeah, but does your conscience justify this? No, not really. See? Your soul, come on, you're just being dominant and you're being a big bully and all this. Well, all right, you may be this tough, but does your soul? No, that doesn't really tell. So, see, it's getting right down to what resonates with your spirit, your soul. That's moreness, right? Getting into that deeper stuff. Because we have, I remember when I was a kid, the expression was, "Oh man, that's too heavy." And then people would say, "Yeah, what? But you have to talk about the
By the
stuff
way, it is
sometimes."
still
Yeah,
going
well, I'll
on.
get to it later. We'll talk about the heavy stuff later. And when I grow up, I'll talk about the heavy stuff. Do they ever talk about it? No. And of
No.
course, except when they get and they have midlife crisis, then they start to realize, oh my goodness, I didn't pay attention to all the stuff, and now I'm lost, and now I don't know what to do with myself, and I realize I've been kind of wasting my life, right? So this is what we do in Moreness-Culture. We are paying attention to the things that our depth, our spirit, our soul, our moreness wants to pay attention to. Yeah, we're not leaving it aside because we
Yes.
don't have this
Yes.
idea. It's too heavy. No, or whatever.
Yeah, but you bring another point, and I want to ask you something again. That does really everyone's soul and that really their consciousness is about the good things only, or like
I have
or
to
one can
believe
be
so.
a bully.
Beena, it's
Yeah, or
part
one
of,
can be bullied by the soul also.
yeah, maybe, but I choose to believe this as part of Moreness-Culture. Right? So
Okay.
it may or may not be so. I don't know, but I choose to believe so. Why? Because that's the world I wish to live in. Now, I'm not naive either. I realize, okay, this may not be so for everybody. However, I am going to make this effort to connect to those who do have that and be part of Moreness-Culture. If that's not your thing, fine. Enjoy yourself elsewhere in however you wish to be. Right? That you have a choice to choose whatever you wish to be. If that's
So what
working
you
for
are
you,
saying
fine.
is
But the
is
question is, Beena,
deliberately,
sorry, the question
yes.
really is it actually really working for you, or do you just believe it is?
Oh yes.
We have
Oh
to be real.
yes.
I see many people who are under delusions of grandeur, for instance, and they think they're getting all this value, but really they're quite miserable inside. Huh? So we have to be honest, and this is key to Moreness-Culture. One of the absolute fundamentals is absolute rigorous, scrupulous self-honesty. Yeah, self-honesty, absolutely key. And also, I
Wow.
want to make a big point. Yes, one of what we're about. You were talking about benefits and value. What we're about in Moreness-Culture every single day, every single minute of every day, Beena, you and I, do we not
Yeah.
engage in the pursuit of moreness, which is extending,
Always.
enhancing, exploring, developing, building,
Yes.
growing, etc.,
Absolutely.
and a deliberate
Absolutely.
effort to evolve?
Absolutely. 100%. All the
Right.
time.
So I'm evolving, you
And it
evolving,
is
we
fun.
evolving together.
And with fun.
Exactly. Of course, it's fun because the more you evolve, the more you are enabled, the more you are empowered. And not only that, but because we are pursuing moreness, the more we get to see moreness, the more we get to connect to moreness, the more we have moreness in our lives. So our lives just kept getting added to. It's a fantastic thing. You know, the problem is, you asking me, like, well, think of somebody who doesn't know anything about what we're talking. they the problem is that they don't have moreness in their life because they're not aware of the moreness that is already there in their lives. It's there, they just don't access it. It's like they're blind to moreness, or like you're colorblind, so you don't see the colors. Yeah. But you can put on spectacles and, oh, now I see the colors. Moreness-Culture are those spectacles that let you see the moreness. You have to learn it. We have to learn it because we've been trained in the superiority paradigm culture, the
Yes.
default culture. We've been
Yes.
trained to not see the moreness. It's a very sad reality. Yeah.
Wow.
So we miss out. We miss
Yes.
out because we just don't even have the way to conceptualize, the way to think about it, to imagine all this incredible moreness around us, right? And when we
Yes.
when we when we
Yes.
are in this Moreness-Culture, right, we're extending ourselves, we're enhancing ourselves, we're exploring, developing, adventuring. I mean, we're having a blast, having a blast. Think of when you were a
Okay.
kid.
Oh, okay.
Anybody. When you were happy as a
Hmm.
kid, you were busy growing, you were busy learning, you were busy exploring, developing yourself, right? That's what a joy to a kid is. If you watch children when they're playing, it's all about learning, all about developing. They're evolving right in front of your eyes. And they love it.
Yes.
It's the most brilliant thing we can do, is to evolve and
Ah,
add to ourselves, to grow, to develop our skills, to
wow.
acquire new skills. Yeah? And
Right.
why
Right.
do we
There is
stop
a
doing
proof.
this? In Moreness-Culture,
Yes.
we
Right.
are perpetual children. We are always growing and learning. We love it because
Right.
it's so
There is a
joyful.
proof with this example. Really, you bring that proof that
Yeah,
innately we all have this thing that we want to learn and grow. We
right.
somehow we get like really forget about all these things and get
Exactly.
into the should mindset that we should do
Exactly.
this and act differently and have something inside different. But
Right.
we learn these things. These are
Right.
superficial. These
Right.
are artificially
Right.
implanted in us, not the real soul call. Okay, yes, I am using these
Exactly.
words, buzzwords like soul call and all these things.
Exactly.
But this is what it is. And still, you are bringing fundamentals, and I'm continuously bringing you for the fruit also, because every fundamental of Moreness-Culture is connected to the fruits of
Exactly. Exactly.
Moreness-Culture.
And you know,
So
when you
please
were
continue.
right, when you were a child in that play mode, and everything you did
Yes.
was this new exploration and learning and growing. Doesn't matter whether you were building new blocks and figuring out how to stack blocks, or put the square circle through the square hole, or whatever you were doing. Who knows,
Yes.
right? It
Yes.
makes no difference. Everything was a thrill. Thrill.
Oh, yes.
The simplest things were joyful. Why can't we have that now? We learned not to be that way because we got
Yeah.
taught that learning is about memorization. Yeah, come on. Learning is about acquiring skills and abilities, understandings,
Exploring.
discernments, being sophisticated. Memorization, it's a benefit, it's a good thing to have, but it's not the only thing. It's a very, very small
Wow.
part of it. And especially in today's world where we walk around with, the memory of everything in our pockets. We don't need to remember stuff like that. You have to remember some stuff. You have to remember where you put your keys. There
Okay.
are things to remember. So memory is valuable,
Yes.
but it's not the only thing. Learning is about developing skills, developing awareness, developing discernment, developing understanding, developing the ability to be able to apply yourself. When I can
Okay.
apply
Another
myself,
question.
in other words, this means when I get to a new situation, I can apply all my skills, and right there, I'm able to deal with it. I'm competent. Yes, I'm efficient. I'm effective. I can do. Yeah, that's when you apply
Hmm.
yourself. So fundamental to Moreness culture is capital P practice. We are always practicing
Okay.
our skills. It's not about just developing these things in your mind only. No, you need to be able to apply them. Perspective shifting, absolutely fundamental to Moreness culture. But it's not just an idea. You have to practice it every day and practice. And the more you practice it, the more you train your brain. And after a while, it comes
And the
automatically.
more you will have fun. And the more you will have
Exactly.
fun.
Exactly.
Because this is not something it is going to be stress about and all that. No, it is going to be fun.
Exactly.
And I have
Because
experienced that.
we are
Just
training
want to ask you
ourselves to
something.
get back to that joy of learning. Please continue, Beena.
Yes, I just want to ask you because you are bringing such huge points today and very interesting. You said about memorization that okay, you don't need to memorize anything, and I can assure you again
Well,
because
on the
I don't
whole,
have.
there are some
I tried.
things, yes. Yeah, but in general.
Yes, but
Yeah.
still, like if a person is doing PhD, do they really need to memorize everything, or they need
There
to
are some
understand?
things which they do need to, but what's more important is their ability to be able to figure it out. Yeah. Well, all right.
Exactly.
Let's take a surgeon. When a surgeon, a good surgeon, no matter who they are, they have learned how to do a particular operation. Yes, and they've done it
Yes.
100 times. But every surgeon will tell you every single operation is different. If they're not able to
Yes.
adapt to your peculiarities of you as an individual, then they're not a good surgeon. That's what makes them good,
Yes.
is the ability. So
Yes.
they remember the basics, but they have the skill to be able to adapt, to figure
This
it
is the
out
key.
on the spot, right? This is an
Yes.
incredible ability. So this translates in Moreness culture to the ability to be fluid, flexible, to be able to adapt. Yes? And this is a profound skill. And this is the skill of being able to be appropriate. See, we get back to appropriateness.
Wow. Exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Fluidity,
Magical.
flexibility,
Magical.
adaptability, appropriate. I think we have to go to a commercial, and we're going to do so, and
No.
we'll be back in, I don't know, a minute or two.
No, but yes. We will go. But you have bring such huge points today. Not only the fundamentals, but also the fruits of Moreness culture.
Yeah.
And we will continue about these things because this is so incredible. And
Yeah.
also, I want you to connect it to the common person for a new person, and I like in everyday life. So, okay,
Yeah.
we will continue after a short commercial break.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a
Beena,
spouse?
we
And
don't
wonder
have to
if being
end at the
caregivers
30
is making you
seconds. We
sick?
can end
Are you
anywhere
worried
in
about
that
taking
time
time off work to care for
when he
elderly
says
parents?
30
I don't know,
seconds.
like, okay, I have to follow your queuing or Christian's
No,
queuing.
we have leeway with the commercials.
Are you an
They're
aging
not
adult who wants to
exactly
remain
so on the
independent, but you're
timing.
not
He
sure
has
how? I'm
flexibility to
Pamela
do
D.
them.
Wilson.
So
Join me
whenever
for the
you
Caring
want to wrap
Generation
it, you can
radio
wrap
show
it.
for caregivers
Anyway,
and
after
aging
the 30
adults,
seconds, you
Wednesday
can
evenings,
do the
6
commercial.
Pacific, 7 Mountain,
Yeah,
8
sorry?
Central,
Okay.
and 9
Yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
but
answer
I
your
was just
questions
filling in
and share
because
tips for
I
managing
was following
stress, family
his queuing
Yeah,
relationships,
there.
yeah,
health,
Okay,
yeah.
mental
anyway.
Well,
health,
that's
and
why he
more.
doesn't count down the 30
Podcasts and
seconds to
transcripts of
5,
the
4,
Caring
3, 2, 1.
Generation are on my website,
That's why he just says 30 seconds. So
PamelaDWilson.com. Plus, a
anytime
caregiving
within the
library,
30
online
seconds, more or
caregiver
less,
support
you can
programs,
go to
and
commercial.
programs for corporations interested in supporting
Yeah, it's pretty
working
cool.
caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring
Mhm.
Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Well, we'll ask him afterwards just to clarify. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is so, but we'll double check. Yeah.
State champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at
No, I will wrap it
150
up,
pounds.
as you were saying.
Since birth, was born
Well,
in
we have 8
poverty
minutes,
and
which is quite a long
was a
segment, so we got plenty. We don't have to start wrapping up again.
two
But yeah.
siblings, 2/3
No, I'm saying about the breaks.
also won
Oh,
the
right.
Four-Style
Yeah,
Wrestling
because I think that's what you were doing. You were going till the 30 seconds, but you see, it doesn't tell you exactly when the 30 seconds, so I don't know how you know when it's end of 30 seconds.
a creative spirit whose talents
Were you watching your own clock or what? Or just going by your own feel of it?
several states. Her father,
Yes, and I know.
That's
At
pretty
least
good,
I
Beena.
can
That's pretty good. I'm impressed.
understand.
I'm impressed.
influenced her decision
Yeah.
to follow in his footsteps.
15 seconds.
Okay.
Has enjoyed
Wow.
a fruitful career doing what she loves.
Just love you, Beena. Just love you, Beena. You know that? It's true. It's true. I don't know. I think you don't believe me sometimes,
Okay.
but it's true. Oh, here we go.
No, it's
Go,
not
go,
like
go.
that. Yes. Okay. Welcome back to the Moreness show with Syl and Beena. Okay. Yes, and we will continue what Syl was sharing with us.
What was
Please,
I
Sil,
sharing? I don't
continue
remember.
your. Oh, you were sharing about the fundamentals and, of course, the fruits of Moreness-Culture. It's
I was
about not
sharing about
memorizing.
remembering stuff and then not needing
Yes,
to remember.
memorizing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not that memory isn't useful. It is. It's very, very useful. The point I was making, it's not the be all and end all of learning. We have
Hmm.
learned that learning means to remember stuff. No.
Hmm.
And look at
Hmm.
like Jeopardy. Oh, they're so smart on Jeopardy. Yes, some of those people are actually smart because they can think uh, right in the minute and figured stuff out. But also they memorized a lot of facts. Now, Rain Man, if you watch the movie Rain Man with Dustin Hoffman, right? He was
Mhm.
he couldn't take care of himself. He had to have somebody look after him. He was unfunctional in life, but he knew everything about everything, right? He had all these facts in his head. He would have been fantastic at Jeopardy. My point is, Rain Man was essentially an idiot, but he would have been good at at Jeopardy because he remembered a lot of facts. Memory doesn't make you smart. Smartness and memory are two different things. They've become confused and conflated, and they aren't the same thing, right? You don't have to remember stuff, and you can still figure stuff out. You still know how to be competent. You still know how to create things, how to build things, how to construct things, how to find information. Anybody who's got any sense
Hmm.
knows that, well, you got the internet, you got libraries, you got other people. To find information is fairly easy. That's not a very difficult thing to do. It's what you do with the information that matters, you see? So you can remember all the stuff, but if you don't know how to put it together, use it, construct things, be able to perspective shift, etc., well, then you're not going to have much use with your memory, right? So we have this, and beside which, all the things that we were taught to remember at school, how much of that matters? We weren't taught how to think. We weren't taught how to perceive. We weren't taught how to figure things out. We weren't taught how to perspective shift, think things through to the end. All of these skills of thinking and being, we weren't taught that. That's what really matters. Yeah? Because then when you go to a
Yes.
job, you have to learn everything all over again. And here's the thing.
Absolutely
Right?
everything.
Yeah. Most people that I know that are sensible in HR and that really employ people and understand about employing people. They don't employ you for your history. Yes, you got to know a certain amount of stuff for the job. But here's the thing they look for most of all, good character. For instance, you can be the most brilliant salesman ever, but if you're dishonest, you're going to sink that company sooner or later. Yeah?
Yes.
See?
Yes.
So your skills don't matter if you got poor character. Furthermore, if you can't even be on time every day, and you're always tardy, people can never trust on you, they can never rely on you. It doesn't matter how much you may know your job, right? You may know the ins and outs, and it doesn't matter. Your poor character going to get you fired, yeah? And nobody will want to work with you. If you're irritable and upset all the time, you can't work in a team. See? Character.
Hmm.
Character matters more. I have a dear friend who was she was looking to get a job at a very big corporation, one of the major, huge corporations. And she was worried that, yeah, she was, oh man, do I have enough experience in this? I said, and you go into the interview, share your good character. I have a fantastic good character. And don't worry about your experience. And she did that, and she got the job, and they love her over there. And it wasn't very long before they promoted her, because she's got fantastic good character, and because she emphasized that and shared it with them, which was quite difficult for her to do. But that's what they look for, right? Anybody who's got any sense in hiring hires character before experience. Of course, you have to have a little bit of experience, but you know what? If you have good character, you know that you can learn. So this is fundamental to Moreness culture, good character. It's
Hmm.
going to get you to
Yes.
learn. And you learn whatever it is that you need to learn. And whatever you need to remember, you remember. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. I somewhat want to make this point that we're about learning your skills, your character. Yes? How much you remember or know, data-wise, it's irrelevant. Doesn't matter. Yeah? Not
You
crucial.
always say that, okay, the clarity of conception is the biggest deal. This is the deal.
Yes.
You don't need to,
Yes.
because then it is going to eliminate the memorization part
Right.
automatically. If you have a
Right. So,
clarity, you can articulate your
right.
sentences again and
Right.
again in a
Right.
different way.
Right. So
Yes.
conception is very sophisticated thinking. If you can
Mhm.
conceive, because conceive has create built into it. Look, when you conceive a
Mhm.
baby, You're conceiving, you're creating something, you're making something new. Yeah. But likewise
Yes.
with conceptions, when you can fully conceive of something, you're also creating it right in that process of conceiving. If you cannot
Wow.
if you cannot conceive of what integrity is, you kind of lost.
Wow. Wow. I love this analogy. Love this. Love this
Very
analogy.
powerful. Very, very,
Yeah.
very powerful. Right. So,
Like few aha moments. Few aha moments. One of the
exactly.
few aha moments. Yes. Brilliant.
Exactly. And this in this conception, we're learning to conceive of moreness. And that's what evolution is. Evolution is
Wow.
continually learning to conceive of more than what you had before. If you just keep repeating what you're doing, you end up stagnating. Yeah. And
Wow.
Moreness culture
Wow.
is an open culture, as opposed to a culture that's got all these rules and limitations and tradition and stuff like that. They lock you in, they box you in, and there's no growth. There's no growth, right? And that
Yes.
limits you. Moreness culture,
Yes.
it's open. The culture itself is open to evolving.
Okay, just want to ask you something because we have so much to add. Of course, the
I know that.
fundamentals of Moreness-Culture is so much more. I know that, but I just want to ask you that because you bring a lot of sophisticated concepts, and of course, this analogy, I just love this. But is it all about just thinking, intellectualizing
No,
every
no,
concept
no.
and everything?
Thinking is a
That's what
tool.
I want to know.
Thinking is a tool. Moreness culture is about being. Applying,
Yes.
application. Without application, it's all useless. You can think all you like and recognize and say, oh, that meme is so wonderful, that's so genius. If you don't apply it, it means nothing. And I see a lot of people fall into this trap. They think they're collecting
Yes.
wisdom and they read it and they recognize it. You're not applying it, so it doesn't mean anything. You're just fooling yourself. Right? So Moreness culture is about being, applying all of this moreness that you acquire. So it's not just applying it, but part of the application is things like appreciation. Appreciation can't just be in your brain. You have to feel appreciation. Appreciation is a whole body experience. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So this is something because I know that there's some accusation that it's all about thinking, it's all
No,
about
no, nope,
being
nope, nope,
intellectual.
nope, 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 nope,
But
nope, nope.
also I want to say that
Yeah.
why to take it being intellectual in a negative way? If it can be a part of it, it is not the wholesome of
Sure.
it. It is just a part of
Intellectual
it.
can be useful as a tool. Yeah, thinking is a
Exactly.
tool, but it's not the end point.
Yes.
Right? It's not the
Okay.
end
So we will
point.
continue. We will
Next week.
continue all of your such profound points with this the Moreness culture. It's about the benefits
week.
and the fundamentals and the fruits of course, the Moreness culture.
Yeah.
We will continue next week, and we will see you guys next week with some more profound ideas, perspective, and tools, because this is the tools we are sharing. And so thank you so much for sharing such a profound stuff. And
Thank you,
remember
Beena.
this is freely available. And
Yes.
if you will find this, and if still you don't pursue it, you will have some regrets in yourself later. So
There
please
you go.
pursue and make a deliberate choice about,
Yes.
make a deliberate choice of choosing moreness in your life. It is going to be
Very
transformative.
important.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, our wonderful team. And Christian, you'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Very good, Beena.
This has been
Very
The
good.
Moreness Show with Syl and Beena.
Now, that was,
Tune
our
in
finish
each
there, I think,
week
was
as they
about 20
focus on bringing
seconds.
joy and peace of being to us all.
Sorry, I said I'd wait till you said we're
9
clear.
p.m.
I think I
Eastern
spoke it
on the
just a bit
Bold
before.
Brave
Anyway.
TV network,
Yeah, right.
powered by B2 Studios.
Yeah.